mild knee sprain after blowing out his shoe less than a minute into last night's huge rivalry game against North Carolina. But that didn't stop it from being a star-studded event with the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, taking in the sights and sounds of Cameron Indoor. It's really cool. We, of course, know he's a big Hoops fan.
Yeah, that was that was so deflating last night.
Yeah.
I think 33 seconds in, was it?
30 seconds into the game. Like crazy, right? But how cool is it, I mean, right, to see that guy. And then he was the one, you could see his lips move and said his shoe broke. Right.
Yeah, right.
which I'd never seen that before. No. Shoe completely came off the bottom. But yeah, it was cool to have.
That's
remember, he worked out against the 2008 Carolina team that won a national championship. So there's ties to both programs.
I didn't realize
Reggie
that.
Love, his former assistant, played it at Duke.
Amazing. All right, time for stories to start your morning. The Steelers won't use the transition tag on Le'Veon Bell after hearing the news. Le'Veon Bell tweeted free at last. Chris, where will Le'Veon end up?
If I have to guess, I'll say the Jets. They've got money to spend. They need a running back. I think he'd be a big help to Sam Darnold, not only as a runner, but with his pass-catching ability out of the backfield. My only question, and look, they may end up bidding against themselves because some, Doug said the Colts, they may not, want to put that much money out there. I think if the Jets can get him, give him maybe even Todd Gurley money, but reports are that he's asking for $50 million over his first 2 years. I'm sorry, there's no way I am giving him that, and the Jets shouldn't either.
Well, look, I think he's going to sit a while. I really do. I think he's going to see. No, I mean, in terms of this offseason, I think he thinks I'm free, I'm on the market, I'm single, I'm ready to mingle. Right? Like, hey, start swiping right on me.
Hit me with the offer.
Right?
And then all of a sudden you realize.
How much? For what? Like, yeah, dude, you hadn't played in a year. Supposedly he's not in great shape right now. And they were just as good without him. Like, he's going to play. He's going to get a nice contract. I don't think he's going to break the bank.
Kyrie Irving seems fed up with all the free agent speculation after this viral video of him and KD speaking in the tunnel at All-Star Weekend spurred on free agent buzz. Kyrie responded saying it doesn't make the league fun. Chris, what do you make of Kyrie's comments here?
Everybody has parts of their jobs that aren't fun, okay? But there's plenty. The overwhelming majority of NBA life is fun, okay? Some people have jobs where none of it's fun. So this is a part of the territory. I get it. Nobody wants to be videotaped when they're just having a private conversation with a friend and everybody's joking or speculating seriously that, they're talking about coming to the Knicks. That could be the furthest thing from the truth. They could just be talking about music or anything else. So I get the frustration, but Kyrie, and I've said it about KD as well, you got to realize this comes with the territory. Not only as an NBA star, but anyone in the public sphere, you get scrutinized to death.
But it has changed where now it's not just LeBron, it's a bunch of these guys. And some of it they brought upon themselves, right? And Kyrie simply said, like, hey, I told you before I'm staying in Boston, that's the end of it, right? Kevin Durant said, I'm staying in Golden State, that's the end of it. But some of this has changed. And again, it's the advent of social media. It's these things, the fact that you can film somebody on your camera and act like you're FaceTiming your kid, right? Because it's not always on the up and up. And it's just, it's exhausting. Like, look, dude, I just want to have a life. So I understand in many ways the pushback against always being in part of public scrutiny.
I have been in that hallway 100 times. As you have, I'll be there Saturday night to call Charlotte. It's a media hallway. They know,
Did you know that you went viral because people thought you were Tommy Lahrens or whatever that. Right?
Correct. Moving on. Back to the Lakers. they kick.
But that's people take pictures and
their post-All-Star push tonight against the Rockets. They are currently 3 games out of the playoff picture, and if they are going to make the playoffs, LeBron knows he's going to have to ramp it up.
Well, it's going to be a little bit different, for me now, just knowing the position that we're in. For me personally, I haven't been in this position in a while, and because of my injury, it's kind of, hit our team, and I didn't. Obviously, we would love to have the success where I was out, but we didn't, and this is where we is right now. So, I'm going to be a little bit different, a little bit earlier than I would like to be in previous years. My level of intensity has to be, unfortunately for me, because I don't like to do it at such an early time, I'm a little bit different. But it's been activated, so look forward to seeing what we can do.
I love this. LeBron's been activated.
On switch. You remember the clapper? Remember the old ad, the clap on? Clapper. The Clapper's like LeBron's like.
That's a new nickname.
Activate.
I actually believe it. We've seen it before. But, Chris, can LeBron lead the Lakers into the playoffs?
He can. I love these quotes from LeBron. And I brought it up earlier. You wonder, were the Lakers kind of tweaking LeBron? Like, you know, there was this story a few days ago about them being concerned about his groin and his lack of intensity and lack of engagement. You know, that was a leak, okay? And from people I've talked to close to LeBron, they said, look, the groin's fine. Yeah, he's pacing himself. He wants to make sure it's healthy. He doesn't want to go out there and, you know, re-injure it because then it's worse. But he's fine. So I'm led to believe that the groin isn't a problem in LeBron's mind. So why are the Lakers so concerned about it? I think maybe they're putting it out there like, all right, guys, time to step up and be the total LeBron. He's played well, but the total LeBron is even at a higher level. That's what they want to see.
And I think it's message received, especially because there was some pushback, and I think rightfully so, over the I'm not chasing anything. I ain't got nothing more to accomplish. Like, really? Really? Because there's 16 banners up there, and everybody else who's a star who's come to L.A. from somewhere else has been about one thing, and that's the ancillary benefits of winning and being a Laker is the TV shows and the movies and the brand building, right? So I think there's a little bit of message received. LeBron's not one to grovel, but he's going to have to rebuild some trust with his teammates, some trust with his coaching staff in terms of he's really in it for the right reasons. And I think that's the messaging. This is the way he's going about it. I'm ready. I'm activated. I'm going to be engaged. Now it's everybody else's turn to get engaged. Because if you watch that tape of the Hawks game, if you watch the tape of really any of those games, even they had a win at home. I think it was against the Clippers. Oh, no, it was against Denver, the Denver Nuggets, right? Even that one, there was just some times in which he took a couple more plays off than he normally takes off. He didn't look as engaged when they were blown out by the Philadelphia 76ers. I know he had some load management as well. So I think this is his way of motivating, and I agree with you. I think the Lakers were a little privately disappointed, maybe not upset, but disappointed at what he was saying and the way in which he was painting the narrative as, I ain't chasing anything. Right. First you got to chase the playoffs, then you got to chase the championship, then we're going to chase some free agents. In that order, let's start with the playoffs. The
Lakers were in fourth before LeBron missed those 18 games and got hurt, but it hasn't just been LeBron getting injured. There's also been a handful of other players between Rondo missing games, Lonzo Ball, of course, when he comes back, Ingram missed some, Kuzma. Who is the most important player aside from LeBron that you believe needs to play at a high level in order for them to get to the postseason?
You need a group of all these role players need to play well. Okay, you need Lonzo's defense. You need Lonzo to hit some shots. They all have to step up and hit more free throws, including LeBron. I don't know if they'll be able to do that. But if I have to pick one guy, I'd say Kuzma, because they're going to need a second score.
Yep.
Like LeBron will get you your 27 or whatever. They're going to need somebody else around 19, 20 a game. And I think Kuzma is by far the best candidate for that. So I would go with him.
I will too. I think Kuzma is incredibly important. Remember now, they made 2 trades.
Yes.
And how they adjust their rotations. Does KCP go out of the rotation now? Do they use Mike Muscala as a stretch 5 as a starter?
He didn't play a lot. Was it Atlanta?
No.
Yeah,
he didn't play much at all in that.
No, but they have felt like, and it's a weird thing, like, well, if you play Mike Muscala, how are you going to rebound and defend? And, I mean, honestly, a lot of it is because they shouldn't have let Brook Lopez go. And so they've been trying to fix the center. JaVale's really a backup, plays better at backup minutes. Tyson Chandler can't do it every night at his age.
Right.
So they're still kind of figuring out the rotation on the fly. And I think, look, Kuzma I think is important. I think Lonzo Ball. Because LeBron doesn't guard every position the way he used to. And Lonzo was starting to come into his zone. There are moments in which he's kind of out to lunch. I think he's really important. I'm going to go with Lonzo Ball getting healthy. That pushes Lonzo to the bench, and that helps their fast break and helps them defensively.
I like it. All right, time for your Subway Choice moment. The Cowboys have a big decision to make this offseason, whether or not to pay Dak Prescott big quarterback money. The Athletic called this the largest contract quandary in Cowboys history. Chris, should the Cowboys pay Dak Prescott whatever it takes?
No. And I'm a big Dak Prescott fan. I know he's not the best thrower of the football. He's not in this Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers class where he can carry a team by himself. He needs other pieces around him. But I do think he has all the intangibles. He's a winner in my book. He's a leader of men. I think he's like a playmaking game manager. You know, he is a game manager, and he needs the superstar parts around him, but he can make a big play by himself, whether it's a pass or a run with his legs. So I like him a lot. That said, if this offseason, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm offering him a long-term deal worth about $22 million a year. And that's below, what the top quarterbacks are getting. If I can lock him in at that, I'm doing it. If he wants more, 25 and up, really big money like Kirk Cousins and those guys got last year, then I'm waiting and I'm seeing what we do this year. And if he gets us to the NFC Championship game, maybe to the Super Bowl, then I may be willing to pay him more. But if I'm the Cowboys, I've got to say, look, I can't go past a number that's going to cost me maybe Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, or some of the other players around you, because you're not Aaron Rodgers. You're not carrying us if we don't have these parts around you.
I agree with you. I mean, think about this stat. He's been the starting quarterback of the Cowboys for 3 years. Now, he doesn't get hurt, and I do think there's a lot of good intangibles there. But the tangibles, he's only thrown for 300 or more yards 6 times in 3 seasons. 300 yards is not a litmus test for a great quarterback. This year he started every game and he threw for 3,885 yards. That sounds like a lot, okay, but you're talking about in today's NFL, over 10 quarterbacks throw for 4,000 yards if they stay healthy and play 16 games. That's the kind of the baseline. So he's middle of the pack. He's fine. He's not going to lose you games, but I don't know how many games he's going to win you. And I think a big portion of why Scott Linehan's offense, the former offensive coordinator of the Cowboys, was so lame and stale was because there's just a limitation of what you can do with Dak. Now, he is prone to make the big play. He can run the football. Guys do tend to like him, and you've been getting him at pennies on the dollar, which has allowed you to have one of the best rosters in football. But I think the smart negotiation is, Dak, listen, I want you to be the quarterback of the Cowboys for a long time, okay? Well past my time when I get the call from the big Cowboy fan up above. But I need you to take a little bit of a Cowboy discount. What do you say, partner? Right? That's what Jerry Jones, instead of pointing out that, hey, man, you're probably between the, 10th, 12th, and 15th, 18th best quarterback. Like, don't hit him with that. Because I know that Dak's going to say, hey, look, man, I've been playing for a couple $100,000 as the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
He's got as many wins as just about any quarterback in that period?
Sure, okay.
And he's got the game-winning drives. He's got more than just about everybody else?
Sure, but we all both agree there's a ceiling there, which is lower than other guys' ceiling.
Passer, no question.
So, yeah, I think the sale has to be, this is the way in which we can have you be, don't try and be the starting quarterback for 1 year or for 2 years past this contract negotiation. Let's have you for 10, 12 years. Be our signature player. But the way to do that is to take a little bit less and spread it out over time. We'll see if he takes the bait. Because the Cowboys do have leverage. They don't have to pay him this year, and they don't have to pay him next year. They can franchise tag him if he doesn't like what they're willing to offer.
Do you think there's much room? You say there's a ceiling. Do you think he's closer to the quarterback we saw in year 1 and year 3, or what we saw in year 2? Is there a consistency that you could expect out of him and a development? I
think he's closer to the quarterback in year 1 and 3. Again, as long as he has weapons around him. That's the thing with Dak. I think he's a winner, and those intangibles come into play when you've got great talent around you. But if he loses Ezekiel Elliott and a receiver like Amari Cooper, we saw, even with Ezekiel Elliott and no receiver like Amari Cooper, we saw what he was. He's averaging, 230 yards a game or something like that. So he needs those pieces, and he's got to understand that. This said, though, if he takes a discount, then use that money to keep bringing talent around. And we saw Derek Carr take a discount, and they let his good friend Khalil Mack go. They let Amari Cooper go. So I don't want to see the Cowboys get Dak on discount and then not spend that money to keep the other guys.
You're not going to get him for $15 million. No,
you're
not going to get him. You're going to get him.
And that wouldn't even be fair.
But if you can be somewhere in the high teens to low 20s, I think that's reasonable. He's not going to break the bank. If he wants 30, which is what the top guys are going for, you're like, all right, dude, you got to show me you're a $30 million quarterback. I understand others have done it, but Matt Stafford got a big paycheck. What have they done? Even Aaron Rodgers got a big paycheck. What have they done? We want to put the best team around you so that you don't make, $30 million over the next 2 years. You make $150 million over the next 7 or 8 years.
All right, coming up, are the Giants actually getting close to trading OBJ? That is next on First Things First.